the ad slide. YouTube.com/broscalamity. We have done so many things here at the lab, both with Switch Versus and indeed some of the past things that we've done, the monthlies. We just had Keystone Ultimate here last weekend. So if you want to check that out, youtube.com/broscalamity. Of course, follow us on Twitter as well at bros_calamity. Facebook.com/thegaminglab and thegaminglab_ on Instagram. If you want, you can book your next birthday party here at the laboratory. That's the phone number right there, 267-317-4969. And of course, the email, bcgaminglab@gmail.com. You can host your own LAN here. You can host your own Splatoon 2 party. What better place to do it than in the heart of suburban Philadelphia, the edge of Montgomery and Bucks County, right here in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. And of course, that's our schedule right there. Fridays, Codename Bears, we're emanating on a few different channels, but of course, you're watching every fourth Saturday is Switch Versus, and we're going to get into it right now. Back to the action, Splat Zones at Sturgeon Shipyard. It could very well come down to who rushes the zone first. It's a very hard zone to get back into once you get locked out. So they will waste no time. It will be very aggressive at the start. Squids in a steel furnace are going to try to burn up Baki's hopes. Here is Sturgeon Shipyard. Welcome to Switch Versus at the laboratory. And the compilations, as we're seeing here, the Splattershot Jr. from Muddy. Oh, and just like that, he gets the trade with but squid bodies flying right and left. All of a sudden, we see, wasting no time whatsoever, Charles, the only one remaining until he gets splatted right there, suffering nearly a full team wipe, and that will allow Team Orange, which is, of course, Team Baki, to take the advantage. That compilation of the Kensa sloshing machine of Raptura with the mini splatling. Wait a second, that's oh, there we go. Yeah, the Rapid Blaster Pro, obviously, and Splattershot Pro. And Jaden doing quite doing whatever he possibly can to cover up some ink, but he's getting pushed back, is not able to utilize the elevation. Good job on Orange to keep the pressure on. They eventually will lose the zone, but not without making a big dent, in the scoreboard. They have 76 points on the board, but now it's Team Green's time to shine. Team Squids in a steel furnace, getting absolutely roasted at the beginning of this matchup. That triple kill at the start, not exactly helping, and a crucial mistake. Yeah, that bridge, once it goes up, yeah, you ain't coming back. Chins getting the higher ground, and he does utilize it well. And now Charles Muddy going to try to make his way in, snake around those homing attacks. Excuse me, those beacons. They're not beacons either. Goodness gracious. Demu. What can you say? His fast-paced action, sometimes your words get mixed up. Stingray coming out is going to try to clear out the club, and they do lose control, and they do eventually regain it. So they're going to have to cut down into the penalty here. Was not able to do enough to get back the advantage, but Jaden, with his hero splatling, we've seen a few good splatlings get broken out here over the years. Most notably, people like Rakesh, and even though we don't see him use the splatling as much here at the laboratory, Astro, an incredibly good backliner, with the utilizing the heavy splatlings and mini splatlings. We occasionally see him break out the charger as well. And Muddy with the Splattershot Jr. somehow good teching to survive there. He has ink armor ready for his team. He'll be utilizing it very shortly as soon as he sees the rush coming. He'll have to time it out, and indeed he does. That Rapid Blaster Pro, it can make a big dent in ink armor too, so he'll have to be careful. And it buys him just enough time for them to cut down into the penalty and maybe take back the lead here. Dominating the zone. And indeed, they take it back. Squids in a steel furnace. Oh, what a beautiful move. It's the sort of thing that you can do with the Splattershot Jr., and indeed, looks like they will take it, but they will not. Just when you think that you have the answers, Team Baki changes the questions, and now it's on them. They will almost assuredly need a knockout victory if they want to take the first game of Switch versus at the lab. Oh, catches him with the Rapid Blaster Pro. Such a dominating weapon in this meta. Oh, runs straight into the 3-on-1. Just got a little over-aggressive. And that's going to be crucial. Jaden not able to get the KO, the first KO with the Stingray, but he is able to clear out the zone. He'll carve himself a path. But now he has a bit of a penalty to cut into. But as long as you're maintaining advantage, it's all good in the hood, I suppose. They don't even necessarily need more points on the board, but a knockout victory would be a nice little morale booster for this game number 1. Raptura suffering the stock loss there. That Kensa sloshing machine, excuse me. Getting taken out of commission just now. Knockout victory incoming, and indeed, it arrives. For Team Squids in a steel furnace, taking game number 1. Very clear performances, and we saw just how quickly Team Baki took the initiative. But Squids in a steel furnace not giving up in any sense of the word, being led by Muddy, who is a very aggressive frontliner with that Splattershot Jr., as mentioned prior, collecting 15 kills. And of course, 24 kills combined for the top 2 players on Team Baki. But we're just not able to hold the advantage, and Slow and Steady wins the race, it seems. Squids in a steel furnace, playing the tortoise part of the tortoise and the hare story. But they do come out ahead. But of course, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You got to win 3 more of those, and indeed we'll have to see how they fare in Clam Blitz. I don't think they're going back to Sturgeon Shipyard. It seems that they're going to be determining that amongst the captains. And we'll get word of that as that comes along. But either way, impressive stuff from both teams involved. Oh, indeed, they are making a substitution. This is teams of 5 here that have been drafted. So you get 1 substitution, or 1 substitute. And we'll have to see who is tagged in. Looks like it might be. I didn't see who got tagged out, quite frankly, so I couldn't really infer. Was it? Is it? Oh, Pixely, you were. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't see you change your tags, and all of a sudden I don't know who anyone is. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a good day to confuse the guy doing solo commentary. Absolutely, I agree with you. And that's Stu the announcer, full of spite today. What can I say? And looks like we're going to Manta Maria for Clam Blitz. Interesting map for Clam Blitz, to say the very least. It's I mean, definitely a lot of different routes that you can take, but at the same time, you still feel like you're getting railroaded just because some of those routes simply are not optimal. But it'll depend on the compositions. I don't really foresee Muddy or Wow It's Charles in this game, so as to not confuse the audience. Absolutely. I don't foresee him going away from that Splattershot Jr., but joining me at this time. Well, it was Izzy before, but I guess you could just call him Pixely. What's up, man?
I absolutely love this map for Clam Blitz because it allows you to sneak behind everyone as you have that power clam, and it's also a perfect spot to jump too because you're sneaking in, you can't really get to that specific corner by the basket. So
yeah, it's a pretty well thought out map. I will say that is definitely a lot of love and care put into it, but you kind of have to treat it that way when you're playing it as well. You really do have to respect everything that this thing has to offer, and indeed how the playing offense and defense on this map particularly different than in others just because of how you have to set yourself up. There's a lot of walls that you have to navigate. There's a lot of different things. But what do you foresee I mean, you just saw, and in fact, you just played in that first Splat Zone game. Team Baki, what do they have to do to get themselves back into this thing? Because it looked like they jumped out to a very good early start, but just could not maintain.
So I feel like what we did was we actually tried to like keep everyone in their zone, like out of the zone. So like I guess you're kind of spawn camping them for a bit towards the end of the game, but.
And that's just the nature of Sturgeon Shipyard as well. It's kind of hard to get back into it, but
something that really helped us a lot is having like a Splatling on our team. It turns out that we both actually had Splatling on our team, but basically being able to have like some sort of range because you have the wide open, wide open zone would help a lot.
And we were actually talking about this. It seemed like really the Splatlings at first were kind of being kept off of that high ground, so they weren't able to rain terror upon the Splat Zone and take it for their own team. Yep. At some point, it wound up being that Baki just kept getting knocked off of the hill with their Splatlings. They just were not able to retake initiative, and that allowed Squids in a Steel Furnace to kind of chip it down and eventually get the knockout.
I also felt like that Team Baki also overextended quite a bit towards, but like around the time we took back the zone, especially their Splatling too, because I noticed that they were like by our sponge trying to like spray us by spawn, but we went around them. So.
They were getting pretty aggressive. In fact, we saw with the Rapid Blaster Pro, Chins trying to jump right into a 3-on-1. Never try to be the hero, folks.
Yeah, and unless you got a splashdown charge.
Yeah, exactly. But he obviously didn't, and he died for it. So that's as the case may be, as we're getting things set up for Clam Blitz at Manta Maria. And once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us alongside Pixely on BCE Studio Announcer.
I absolutely love wearing a green shirt to this because I can kind of see the green screen behind me.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. I was wondering if that was going to pick up, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually why I wanted to come down here, because I just wanted to see if this...
We actually had a guy hop off of refuse to do commentary specifically because he had a green shirt.
Really?
So, I mean, yeah.
I need to wear like more green shirts to this.
It really is all about your attitude, folks. Yeah. That's what matters the most. I should just wear a full-on like green bodysuit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The floating disembodied head of Stu the Announcer.
Yeah. I'm probably take this curtain down and just wrap it around you.
Oh, that is both brilliant and it might also get me fired. So
True.
Yeah, either way, as we they're setting up for something. I'm not really sure exactly what the wait is.
Looks like
they're making us wait as revenge for the
looks
for
like
the wait
their
that we
last
put you through.
person's having trouble joining, but because we swapped out, we had to like plug our switch in and everything.
Yeah. Got to go to land mode, folks. It's what is it? The left stick and some combination of buttons. LNR, yeah, that's right. So yeah, we'll get that figured out. They're having trouble, but either way, folks, we're glad that you had no trouble finding us here at twitch.tv/bros_calamity for Switch Versus at the Lab number 17. And obviously a few big events coming our way. We just had the Ink TV Open. That was, well, we didn't, but obviously the connection was lost. But we had the Ink TV Open. That was heavily contested. Congratulations again to Kraken Paradise and Demise for their wonderful appearances in grand finals. But ultimately, there can be only one, and yeah, we saw that turned out. And obviously, things like Smash and Splash coming up. It's a pretty good time to be in the Splatoon scene.
Oh yeah, I'm actually really excited for Smash and Splash because I'm actually flying out end of May, I guess. Yeah. So like a little over a month. Well, less than a month from now, actually, I'll be flying out to Smash and Splash and actually meeting a bunch of people for the first time. So
yeah, no, I'm trying to do that as well, trying to be a commentator there, but I don't know. Well, there's only one way to know for sure, and that's to just keep on doing it. But once we get things rolling on, all right, we're gonna take a quick break before game number 2. Let the teams get set up for Clam Blitz at Manta Maria, which is where we'll be taking you next. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Switch Versus at the Laboratory. And we are back here at Switch versus at the Laboratory, number 17.
Yep.
You know, you think we'd have this down to a system by now, Pixely, but and indeed we do. But we have a couple of machines, some Splatoon playing machines here.
Yep.
At the Laboratory and Clam Blitz at Manta Maria. You were just discussing this, the general strategy. Like you were saying, and you pointed this out. We saw this at the World Championships, as you mentioned. The baller into the baller near the hoop, and you know you're going to see some up close melee weapons. I don't foresee Charles going off of the Splattershot Junior in that regard, though, because honestly, it's nice to have the baller, but sometimes you just need someone to sneak around without the special not drawing suspicion.
And I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if I see a brush or two in this modern stage, especially. Only because the brush allows you to like really quickly sneak behind everyone until it's too late. So.
Exactly. I mean, why come in guns blazing when you can just take a knife to the back?
Yep.
So, ink brush. It's I mean, hey, you know what? It's Splatoon is kind of a messed up game when you think about it. It's, I mean, yeah, post-apocalyptic squirt gun fighting. It's
like
whatever.
If you see the new Salmon Run maps, there are a bunch of like human posters too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Dude, that's rad. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, folks, we can contemplate our mortality later. It's time for Clam Blitz at Manta Maria. There we go. Nicely done. Kensa splatter shot.
Yep.
On one side, and indeed is going to be joined by a vanilla splatter shot. I like that pick, honestly, although burst bombs not nearly what they were in the past iterations of the game. And of course the Kensa splatter shot pro and the jet squelcher. I believe that's Boing who's wielding the jet squelcher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Jaden jumping right in. They will wait no longer. They'll jump right out to the lead that an errant torpedo is going to not find its mark. However, it's a 2-2 on the 4-2 on the field now. Excuse me. And Armand, I mean, I guess we can say Raptura, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Muddy gonna opt to throw that ball backwards and collect some more clams to try to get some. Oh, looks like he got cornered before he got turned away. Demu gets caught on the side by Charles, who, okay, you know what? That Splattershot Junior grew up right in front of our eyes and became a vanilla. Ooh. Oh, good double, though, by Charles putting in that work. And he gives his team a slight advantage on the field, but there's still a lot more purple ink than there is green right now. That needs to change fast if they want to get in. All right, so the inkjet, Demu getting out of harm's way. But what do you see in the strategy? What's the play that that Team Purple has in mind in order to make it back into this game?
Looks like they're trying to do the same strategy I was talking about, just getting that corner and flanking. But obviously, you know, those bubbles stopped them pretty well.
And it should be noted that this is a pretty risky strategy as well, because you are essentially you're deprioritizing the middle of the field, which means you might have that corner route, but it's the only thing that you have, so you better make it work. And right now, they just have not. Charles and his teammate with the Kensa, Jaden, they're going to try to remedy that in whatever way they possibly can. MKV13, however, with the Splattershot Pro, he does not miss, and he'll take out That So, giving him a taste of his own medicine with the Splattershot Pro, in fact.
Ooh.
Oh, they tie it up, but can they get the deciding clam to officially take the lead? Otherwise, it will set back to 69. And indeed it will. So good defense by Team Green. And Squids in a steel furnace, trying to turn up the heat on their opposition here. And Team Baki, and in doing so, go up 2-0. Oh, wow, that was weird. I thought I saw him collect 2, and then he just didn't. And Jaden indeed finds his way in, and they'll retake the lead. Only by 5, but hey, a lead is a lead, Pixely.
Yep.
Oh, Demu, I don't know how he avoided. Never mind. Goodness gracious. Squid bodies flying all over the place. MKV-13 getting taken out from the side by Jaden, and these Kensa weapons have been something else in the 4.0 patch. What's been the biggest change in your opinion as 4.0 has taken hold?
Honestly, I've been loving the Kensa sloshing machine a lot. Because I used to use the main to sploosh for a while, believe it or not, before I discovered, you know, that the sloshing machine is actually a viable weapon. Kind of copied what Rapture is doing, but you know, but yeah, it just combines two familiar elements into like a weapon that you see on the X rank charts a lot. So.
Well, I definitely do believe it, just because I played a few games with you while you were maining the sloshing machine.
Yeah.
And it does quite well at a certain level of play. I don't know how you made it work in competitive. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You did just fine at some of the earlier Switch versus events before we got the super competitive scene here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, charging in, and the splashdown to follow it up. It's going to clear out the board and allow his team to pile in the clams.
That's clean.
Beautifully done by Squids in a steel furnace, putting on the heat, and and they
one clam away.
One clam away, indeed. They allow Squids in a steel furnace to retake the lead, and all of us.
We're out of time, so.
Team Baki's hopes in game number 2 turned to ash by Squids in a steel furnace, who will take the 2-0 lead. And gotta say, that was rough going for them for a while. But as we saw, 13 kills for Muddy again, not afraid to take the charge on the front line. Armin trying to do everything he possibly could, leading the charge with the undercover Brella, but it seemed like just a little, just not durable enough to barge their way in.
All right, looks like they won. Oh, nope, never mind. Yeah, I'm not sure if my team actually wants me back, but it looks like Team Baki is gonna sub out whoever just left for.
Well, there's only one way to know for sure. And
yep.
And they may very well sub in. I think it would be Chins that's trying to come back in.
I believe so. Yep.
So Chins, that Rapid Blaster Pro, they probably could have used a little bit of range, quite honestly, just because to complement what Raptura was trying to do with the undercover Brella. At least in terms of applying pressure. And as we get a look at the laboratory, folks, it's not all about competitive stuff. It's about having yourself a good time too. Yeah. It's about teaming up with your friend and playing some Cuphead. I thought they were playing Nippon Marathon for a second, but yeah. it's a game that's almost as insane in Cuphead.
Oh, I absolutely love Cuphead. Especially I guess it's based off of like animation you find like 20s and the 30s, and it's like it's a type of style you don't really find in video games today.
Oh, it's so charming.
Yeah.
It's amazing what video games can do nowadays. You had stuff like that. I remember when they revealed it. It looked like the coolest thing on earth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bought the PC version when it came out, and I'm tempted to just buy the Switch version again because it's so good.
Yeah, I'm thinking of buying the PC version, to be completely honest with you. But getting things set up, it's going to be tower control. We're going to determine the map, but tower control is game number 3, and they're going to be looking for going up 3-0. We'll Squids in a steel furnace before we move on to Rainmaker in game 4, which I can only imagine with their close range aptitude, that would almost assure them a victory.
Oh yeah, because I noticed that for that last game, you'll notice that there's a lot of short range weapons which allowed them to like I guess make. I mean, the game was pretty much close, like neck to neck for most of the match. But what allowed them to make that final push in then are those short range weapons. So I expect to see a couple more short range weapons for tower control on. I don't know what map we're picking, but
well, we'll certainly figure that out. But that'll definitely determine the composition. But generally speaking, for tower control, obviously you want at least one Stingray. I can imagine you want something to counteract the Stingray as well. I mean, it was such that there was basically you could not compete without 2 of those on your team in tower control for like the first 3 big patches. Has it changed?
Yep. So okay, so it looks like they picked Mart, which is a very interesting map because there's a wide and open area which comes in handy for like long range weapons like splat lanes and chargers. So let's see what weapons they'll pick.
Indeed. So trying to take over that negative space, not just the tower itself, but everything around the tower. And it being such an open map, you really do have to. You're basically playing a more frantic, a more fluid turf war at that juncture.
Pretty much. Yep. So another element with tower control that's pretty important is at least having enough turf that you can move around. Because it feels that tower control and Rainmaker especially feels like the most like turf war because like you aren't able to progress if you don't have ink on the ground.
Exactly, and I mean, certainly there are some cheeky ways that you can go about it, with long distance sniping or taking care of business with your backliners. But it's at the same time,
someone has to be on the tower. That's all that matters.
Exactly. That's you really are relying. If you're leaning on your backliners to do something like that without any sort of ground control, you're relying on your opponent to make mistakes, and you just can't count on that at the competitive level.
Oh yeah.
So as we are about 10 seconds away, folks, once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on twitch.tv/bros_calamity. Switch versus number 17. Switch versus at the lab. We'll get things. We know that you're enjoying what you're seeing right here. But if you want to see past tournaments, go ahead and hit us up on our YouTube page, youtube.com/broscalamity. You can do that later, though. Right now, sit back, relax, strap in your seatbelts, because we're riding the tower. And the call-outs on this stage that I see varying from team to team, like they'll go into, like, oh, yeah, we're in the produce section, or we're in the...
I see breakfast mellow... Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Well, the game started.
Well, I never imagined. Land lag's a thing, just saying. We got that on stream, too, didn't we?
It's not the first time the tower's left me behind. I'll say that, but it's probably the first time it's happened in that fashion. So as we will get this situation sorted out, it appears that Game 3 is just off and running. That is unbelievable.
That's hilarious.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Me neither. That's crazy.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it's goodness gracious. Yeah, fix your servers, man.
I mean, it's our servers too, right?
Yeah, true. It is. Definitely is. Yeah. It's P2P, man. Goodness gracious. I can't believe it. Who let P2P be a thing in this game?
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm never going to get work again. Folks, thank you for your patience. We will certainly get the situation rectified ASA possible. But until then, Pixely, tower control at Mart. We were just talking about this. Obviously, you have to be a little bit more cheeky with your tact in Manta Maria, and we certainly saw that. Squids in a Steel Furnace going up 2-0 with some solid all-around play, and really a little bit more assertive at the beginning than they were in the first game, Splat Zones at Sturgeon. But what are we? Squids in a Steel Furnace, man.
Yeah.
They've been so impressive for really the duration of this set, and I would love to know how they're doing in game number 3.
So something I've absolutely noticed is that a lot of these games are like neck and neck till the very end, and it's actually all about choosing when to overextend. So something I noticed that Team Baki doing is like they're overextending like early on or towards the middle of the game, which might help them a bit. But since you have so much time left, also allows us to like sneak around and make a comeback. And by the time we have a comeback, there's like only a couple seconds left. That's when the right time is to overextend. So.
Right, but again, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Definitely.
You can be the head horse of the pack until the very end of the race, but you get to that final furlong. If you don't have the gas to go, then
oh yeah,
that's unfortunate. Baki, I'm noticing from them it's not even necessarily that they're doing anything wrong. I just feel like Squids in a Steel Furnace, especially in game number 2, just kept catching them at every turn. There was a very consistent game 2 that we saw from them. They played solid defense around the rim. They did quite well in midfield as they were trying to. They weren't necessarily seeding mid either, but they were getting in rather effectively, and Baki just could not get the sort of worm around route that you were talking about in order to put more points on the board.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've noticed that.
What happened? Unbelievable.
Oof.
Yeah, shout out to Infinite. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, so I've noticed that, because that's been the general strategy, a lot of teams are also trying to like work against that. So something I've noticed a lot in the last game is that there are a lot of bubbles where the jump should have been. So. Alrighty.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be able to recreate that intro I did last time, so let's just go ahead and hopefully we really don't recreate the disconnection. So let's ride the tower, everyone.
All right.
Make up 2 Splatling. Oh no, never mind. 1 Splatling. And I almost mistook the blaster for a Splatling, folks. Yep. What can you say? This game gets to you sometimes. Custom Jet Sculpture already taken out of commission, and the Dynamo Roller. So a couple of ranged options here from Team Baki, it looks like.
Yep. It looks like the general strategy here is that something I noticed that the long range weapons actually rode the ink rails to get to those corners, because then you have control of both mid and then also some of their zone as well. So.
I did mean to say Squids in a Steel Furnace, breaking out the Dynamo Roller, and that's so breaking it out.
Oh yeah.
Foregoing the usage of the Splattershot Pro in this game, Demu. Oh, excuse me, Boing. With that, Baki taking out Muddy, it looks like, and now gonna try to provide some support from range. Looks like he's in a good position to do so. Stingray is going to get broken out. He won't get any kills off of it, and that could be proving fatal. That Jet Sculpture is going to tag anything and anyone that comes near that tower. But it's not stopping them from putting points on the board, that little chip damage. Oh, my.
No.
You saw that the Ultra Stamp getting broken out, but right there to snuff it out was Team Purple, and Demu and Team Baki going to try to put in that work and extend their lead. What are you noticing that they're doing so well so far? Not running into suction bombs included.
So I've noticed that, what team are we at? Oh, yeah. So I'm noticing, I can't tell which team is which anymore, but I'm noticing that, there's a lot of, like, I guess the orange team, Squids and Steel Furnace, are all, like, longer range weapons. So you have, Jet Sculpture, longer range roller. And I feel like it's not working in their favor. Well, it is working in their favor now, but it wasn't working in their favor towards the beginning of the game, for sure.
Very true.
You need a short-range weapon to just get to the tower.
Well, I mean, it's not like either of these two strategies are necessarily like have to work against one another. It really just comes down to these are two teams that are very confident in their game plans. It's just a matter of execution. MKV13 gets the tag with the Splattershot Pro, and he'll try to pile on as many points as he possibly can. And they are at the checkpoint, but can they move past that toxic mist, an ever-prevalent force, and has been ever since the game is launched in tower control? A 4-on-1 situation potentially. Going to try to take out the ranged opposition with the Stingray. Will Boing, but they had some company right up close and personal. That could have been trouble if they didn't have the numbers there. Jaden providing that support. However, thought he took out the torpedo, but it's the undercover Brella that does the job, and that's Raptura for you. Raptura, one of the cheekiest players really on the East Coast. He's such a smart player. He knows the game inside and out, and he's not afraid of a little controlled aggression, but he's not going to be the type of person that runs in guns blazing. He will He's really like just a silent killer. He will run up on you and run your fade real fast. You just won't even know it hit you.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the strengths of playing the sloshing machine, which he mains all the time too, because you can just it's like a two-hit kill and you just comes from behind you out of nowhere. But
it perfectly fits his play style. It always has.
Oh yeah.
Muddy gonna try to provide some support around the base of the tower with those suction bombs. Nothing doing, however, dictating the movement just a little bit. He'll get the trade with MKV13. Not sure if a trade is what he wanted, though. It is 3-2 on the field. Make that, well, now it's a full team, but yeah, a quick little advantage for Orange, but that's not going to stop Purple from taking the tower. 48-35 on the board in favor of Team Orange. That is Squill! Oh my gosh, the double kill!
Oof.
But the range blaster takes him out eventually.
That's a triple. Ooh.
Oh, a close-up shot to the face from the blaster. That's not going to tickle. MKV13, one last push for Purple. Looks like they're not going to be able to take it back, and it looks like Squids in a steel furnace. There you go. The Booyah Bomb will take it, and James helping to seal victory for Squids in a steel furnace, who go up 3-0.
Oh, yes.
And again, the 48-35 victory. Looked like there was a lot of work being put in. Of course, Charles taking the reins, 18 kills with that range blaster and a couple of big charges as well. I mean, we've seen how good he can be with a blaster and how efficient. Really, what's impressive is just from going from a more turf-based weapon, a more up-close and personal weapon like that, to the range blaster. Where, I mean, yeah, it's incredibly powerful, but you do have to hit your shots.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I guess something
incredibly efficient offense from Charles.
Yep. So definitely. So one of the things with I guess what makes the blaster a little difficult, for at least for me to use, is that it's kind of, you have to like aim precisely and know when it's gonna fire. So, and he basically used that to his advantage to get that triple kill towards the end there.
And we saw that Squids in a steel furnace. It seemed like it really was. That was that was probably the most even game that we've seen thus far, just because of how back and forth it was. And obviously, if you're playing tower control, you're going to spend a lot of time in the middle of the map, and then thus that needs to be predicated.
Yep.
But
especially in Makomar too, with a wide open middle.
Exactly, and it really was Squids in a steel furnace that were better suited for that. But Baki, it seemed like they weren't lacking in ideas, but what went wrong for them?
I mean, I certainly feel like basically, long-range weapons can be used like as a strength and also a weakness. So something I noticed is that basically they had trouble just coming back onto the tower, especially halfway through the game. Mostly because long-range weapons are already in the middle and kind of hard to take. It's kind of hard to take out or even get to, because they're outranging you, obviously. But
so simply nowhere to run for Team Baki, and now they have their backs up against the wall as we go to Rainmaker at Camp Triggerfish of all places. So that we go from one of the most open maps in the game to a map where there is literally no middle of the map.
Yeah. The middle is like a tiny bridge that,
yeah,
you can't really use to your advantage for the most part. So I don't really see many plays in the middle of the map at all.
Exactly. It really is just the sort of military style. You're taking positions, and you're needing to retake like one area at a time and then recouping and trying your next attack. Especially with Rainmaker, I really don't foresee a knockout victory just because of how tough that final stretch is, that final like 25 to 28%.
Definitely. Something I've also noticed a lot in this, especially in this map, is that Rainmaker often gets reset because it's really hard to get the Rainmaker to the other side through like a bunch of narrow hallways. So something that I kind of expect to see, especially on this mode and stage.
Some strategic adjustments being made in that regard, absolutely. But I mean, it becomes that much more important to get your kills and hit your shots there and hope that the team overextends, because it just gives you that much more of an advantage when the Rainmaker does get reset. You get to take the initiative, and then and dictate the pace of play from there. If you want to charge ahead, you can. If you want to slow the game down, which I feel like you kind of have to at Triggerfish, you can do that as well. But Baki backs against the wall. We'll see if they can fight their way out. Here at Triggerfish, we'll see what their team makeup is. And, well, very close range. This is going to be a punch-in-the-face contest if Squids in a Steel Furnace have anything to say about it. But
yeah, this is like the opposite comp of what we had last game, too. It's kind of surprising. Again, different maps, different strategies, so
yeah,
let's see what happens here.
Armin going back to the...
So they're going down that narrow hallway, but looks like no one's really there to contest them.
Sloshing Machine is there, however, and he gets the double. Does Armin, and make that a triple. 1 kill ain't enough, Jack. You better make it 3, and then they'll try to launch their counterattack. With, again, the Splattershot Pro, Forge Splattershot Pro, I should say. Already has 2 splats. That Splatling going to be key as well. Oh, wait a second. They're charging right in. MKV 13 looking for the kill, and almost with the finishing touch.
I almost feel like they're going to reset it.
What a way that would have been to take back take back your destiny.
It kind of happened so quickly too. Like I didn't even notice it happening till it got near that goal. So again, now you have to get that Rainmaker for that narrow hallway, which is always difficult in this map.
Yeah, that Rainmaker was forced forward. However, James and Jaden assisting by providing a kill. Looks like they might lose the Rainmaker soon if they do not take care of those threats up front. And indeed, that Stingray just sitting back a little too much for them to be able to negotiate. So good defense by Team Green all around, but the Splat Bomb right there, ready and waiting. And there is a sea of blue right there, but Baki, right now, all they really have to do is sit back and let business take care of itself, it seems like. But this is an incredibly up-close and personal set that that Squids in a Steel Furnace have gone for. Do you like this call?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a lot different than what I've been expecting and what I'm kind of used to seeing in in Rainmaker. It almost feels like Squids in Steel Furnace having trouble trying to get back, or not.
Oh, but they are ticking things off of the. Oh, they are indeed.
Oof.
And they do some massive damage, but there's just too much firepower to have to deal with.
Oh yeah, and they're definitely gonna have to sneak around and evade the longer range weapons that Team Baki has.
Oh, getting tagged from range, and indeed, if this game is going to be won, it's going to be won from distance. MKV 13, he's in position to be the star player here, and he does indeed have 6 kills thus far, but it's the sloshing machine right now of
So it's Jaden sneaking in.
Yep, it's the sloshing machine right now that leads their team in kills. Tenta missiles incoming from Jaden, and he does get MKV 13. So another one of those ranged weapons. They're going to spawn camp a little bit, and just like that, are they going to go for the kill here? They're in position, and they administer the knockout blow. Squids in a Steel Furnace on fire. They'll take it 4-0.
Ooh, that was exciting to see. But
just like that, and yeah, just too many things for Team Baki to deal with. And again, you saw, yeah, it was Raptura leading the way with 12 kills with that sloshing machine, but an all-around effort, taking advantage of just being able to charge in and
charging at the right time too, when like everyone else on their team was down.
Exactly. No, and there was no real tact to it. It was almost beautiful in how brutal it was. There was no tact to it. There was no real thought to it other than we're going to charge in and we're going to kick down your door. We're going to kick mud up on your couch, and we're going to take game number 4. Yep. That was the message that they sent, and well, what could Baki do but receive it?
Isn't that how rank mode works in general?
Yeah, generally speaking, yeah. They really did kind of play it like it was just a regular Wi-Fi match.
Yeah.
It was it's a little crazy. But you know what? Sometimes it works out in Squids in a Steel Furnace. pays dividends for them. They take the set 4-0. Team Baki not really playing a bad game in any stretch of the imagination.
There's actually a close game till the very end too. It's 4-0. Yeah.
No, and every single one of those games was winnable. I mean, it just seemed like at some point Squids and a Steel Furnace took initiative. But what allowed Squids and a Steel Furnace to take those games? What was the overall theme that you saw from them?
I mean, it's all about being in the right place in the right time, honestly. Because something I noticed is that, especially towards the end there, those few picks that that one of my team members had, with both the missiles and bombs, they were able to. I mean, once you have your 2 players down, that's literally half the team. So
there you go, and that's they waited for their opportunity to strike and they took it.
Yep.
That's opportunism pays off, folks. So we're going to take this opportunity to take a quick break. We'll be back with more action here at Switch Versus. Not sure what we're going to have going on next. That is up to producer Moosh to decide. Yeah, all right. Get a little bit of co-op Cuphead before Smash Ultimate. So we hope that you stick around and kick back, relax, and if you want to come out and enjoy yourself, 3 South York Road, Hatboro, Pennsylvania. That's 3 South York Road, Hatboro, Pennsylvania, on the 4th Saturday of every single month. That's where we have Switch Versus at the laboratory. Pixely, where can they get at you on Twitter?
At Pixely Unicorn, that's my Twitter. At Pixely Squid is my Twitch. Follow me, y'all.
Absolutely. Always a good time hanging out with you, and thank you very much. So we're going to be right back. Don't go away. You're watching Switch Versus here on Bros Calamity.